You are listening to the Coach's Corner Show on KYNT, Yankton's home team. Now, let's get you caught up on Yankton High School athletics with KYNT Sports Director and the voice of the Bucks and Gazelles, Bryce Ladwig.
Well, another season of Yankton Athletics is upon us, and that means another season of the Coach's Corner. Thank you for joining us here this morning, live from 1019 Broadway Avenue here in Yankton. Again, the Coach's Corner with myself, Bryce Ladwig, voice of Yankton Bucks and Gazelles Athletics, and this morning joined in studio by Braden Butler, KYNT sports producer. Braden, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on here. It's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, it's the opening, I call it the episode, but the opening show of the season, and I have a lot of pre-recorded interviews, caught up with a lot of the coaches, just kind of check-ins with them, and seeing where they're at in the season, and Riverboat Days is here, so it's really hard to get coaches to come into the studio, obviously, especially during the time that this airs, so just doing it here, and just ready to get rolling with the season. Speaking of Yankton Athletics, you, Braden Butler, are covering Yankton soccer. You already have 2 games broadcasted this year under your belt, as well as Yankton volleyball. You've done a great job on soccer, and you've been at this now. This is your second year, right?
That'd be about 13, 14 months. That'd be how you're trying to treat a kid's age until they're 2. You go by months, but yeah, about just over a year here.
I can tell you for actual fact that is what happens. We were doing with Kirby and Marshall. He's 4 months now, right? But it was all about months. How old is she? 7 months. 8 months, 9 months, right? And then when it hits a year, it changes a bit. For Katie, the wife, obviously the mother, she would go all the way to 18 months, but then I stopped at a year, and I'd say a little over a year and a half, 2 years. So I'm going to go by halves now. I made that decision, and I'm going to have to live with it.
The executive decisions made in your household
always. Just how I refer to it. Katie will probably be like, yeah, she's 76 months old, and let people try to do math on their own, like, oh, she's adorable.
You know my history with math.
Yeah, 1 semester of college math major. We mentioned it every broadcast.
Yeah, that was a good summer. That was a good summer of baseball that you're talking about, where that was brought up almost every time. Anytime I had to run numbers, the numbers were run about as well as you'd expect.
Well, there you go. Brayden, you, during this season, will be on Yankton football as well, doing a lot of the Bucks kickoff pregame show, and join us here and there when you can, helping produce Yankton football. But for the Coach's Corner, today a little different. I guess you are your own YHS Nation episode today, but you will be bringing in non-athletic activities, leaders or students of those activities, and interviewing them, right? Kind of how we've done in years past. We kind of walk us through how that's going to work.
Yeah, basically it would be an interview with somebody in a non-athletic club or team or something like that with Yankton High School, just to give more of a focus on them and what they do. We usually... I know last year a handful of times talking to band directors and choir directors and talk about the school play and the yearbook, student newspaper, all that. So it just kind of gives more of a light on things that maybe don't get talked about as much because, obviously football taking Friday nights under the lights, a lot of people come out to those, and then soccer and basketball and baseball and everything else. Sometimes the non-athletic events can be put off to the wayside, so it's nice to bring a spotlight to them.
All right, we'll love to hear that, and we'll be playing that at the end of the Coach's Corner shows through the fall and winter and spring. That's just how that's going to roll. In the past, we have done the YHS Nation leading into the Bucks football pregame show, but I really just feel if we're going to do it for winter and spring, why not just do it that way for the entire year?
Yeah, just keep it uniform, and those official shows will start next week on the Coach's Corner. It'll be the interview will be conducted not by myself, but by our news director, Josh Bolter. There's a new orchestra director for Yankton High School, so that's who will be the focus of day one.
All right. Well, thank you to Braden Butler for joining us here in studio. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, let's just get things kicked off. Let's start talking Yankton Bucks football, shall we, here on the Coach's Corner on KYNT.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank. And for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
Hello, here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
Tuxedo is proud to have been part of the Yankton community since its start in 2000.
One of the things I love most is that they believe in promoting from within. I've been given many opportunities to advance.
Tuxedo has an extensive variety of benefits available to their employees.
The work environment at Tuxedo is extremely positive.
We are looking for you to join our production team. Visit www.tuxedo.com/careers to apply.
Olson Pest Technicians is a family-owned business since 1966, and with over 50 years of pest management, they understand your issues, and their well-trained team will help you solve your pest problems. Issues with cockroaches, ants, bedbugs, bats, termites, spiders, rats, mice, or other creepy crawling pests? Give your home a fresh start and use the proven method of fumigation to take care of your pest problem. Olson's Pest Technicians will thoroughly get rid of pests so you can rest easy again. Call Olson Pest today, 800-KILL-BUG. That's 1-800-KILBUGS.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call State Farm agent Rhonda Westland at 665-4411.
Two things I have realized. Well, welcome back to the Coach's Corner, KYNT. KYNTV, Bryce Ladwig with you. Two things I have realized for the viewership audience on KYNTV. One, I didn't put Braden Butler's name on the studio guest on our new show look here on KYNTV, so I apologize. Braden Butler, KYNT Studio sports producer for us, and this year voice of Yankton Gazelles and Bucks soccer, Yankton Gazelles volleyball, and contributes for Yankton football as well. Again, thanks to him. And he is the leader of YHS Nation, the segment of mainly non-athletic activities at Yankton High School, whether it's the teachers or coach supervisors of those activities or the students themselves. He will be leading that effort and will play it on the end of the Coach's Corner. Part two of what I realized for the viewership audience is, yeah, I'm wearing a Lancer football t-shirt, but that's okay. I know we're doing Yankton athletics right now, but I'm just going to tell myself I am the KYNT sports director, and Lancer Athletics, I have a very heavy hand in that as well, so go Lancers. But let's keep talking Yankton athletics here. Yankton Bucks football, mainly. I caught up with Coach Brady Muth on Wednesday, and they do, as this is playing on Saturday, last night they had their scrimmage, but he does give us a team preview of things on the Pizza Ranch phone line. And we'll go ahead and play that for you right now. It's a lengthy interview, but if you want the download on Yankton Bucks football, this is the place to be right now. This is Coach Brady Muth earlier this week, joining us on the Pizza Ranch phone line on the Coach's Corner. All right, let's start talking Yankton Bucks football for the first time here in the 2023 season. Always get excited to say those words, being joined by Coach Brady Muth. Coach, first of all, thanks for being in here, pre-recording this interview. Riverboat Days festivities keep everyone very busy. You're back in school, back in the swing of things. So I guess we'll kind of open it up. How was your summer? I hope you got some relaxation in.
Yeah, I do a good job of enjoying summer. It's a good time to spend time with your family and friends and get outside. And so when I say that, I love summer and I just like the freedom that summer gives you, and you get to kind of do some different things. But, when August rolls around, I'm excited to get back to work and get to football. So, and just being around the kids in school and getting back to a routine. And so it's an exciting time. It's a busy time, and just excited to get back at it, man.
When did practices start for Yankton? I mean, kind of how does that work with the summer and then going into the early fall? Kind of what's that timeline?
Well, we started August 7th was our first day. There's a dead period. There's 2 dead periods in the summer over the 4th of July and then leading up into fall camp where it's, you can't talk to players and interact with them or, work with them on the field and stuff like that. And that's, in my mind, that's a really good thing because everybody needs to just take a step back and be a normal human for a while. And so for our guys, that lead up, it's a good time for them to get one more shot of vacation with their family and just spend a little bit more time with their loved ones because come August 7th, then all of a sudden they're pretty busy. And we keep them pretty busy during fall camp, which we're right in the middle of. And, the summer, to be honest with you, the way the summer is structured anymore, and I would say this is statewide, it used to be, I can remember getting a letter in an envelope in the mail from Coach Hawk that had, it was after the 4th of July, you got this letter that said you better start doing your calisthenics and, do this many 40-yard sprints so you're in shape. That really has changed. The way we do things has completely changed. They come into fall camp in shape because of what they do during the summer, and they come into the summer with, good weight on their body and stronger because of what they did in the off season. And so, all of those things, I don't want to say unfortunately, but we do ask a lot of our athletes and kids that are in activities just in general. I mean, it's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. So when you get to that fall camp, it's kind of exciting because you're getting to football stuff and you're getting closer. We won't really feel like it's football season, to be honest with you, until game week with Mitchell. And so it's still through that process of trying to weed things out and getting people where they need to be, getting the right guys where they need to be, and just getting acclimated to what's going to happen here this fall.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of guys keeping in shape in the summer. A lot of them playing Legion baseball, for example, in a state tournament. I know you were keeping track of that as well.
Yeah, and that's the way we want it, too. I mean, I think in Yankton, we try to work real hard just in between our coaches, both on the guys and the gals side of working together. I think we know, I don't want to speak for everybody in our athletic department, but I think we know that in order for us to do things and be successful in Yankton and compete with places that may be a little bit bigger than us, we have to have kids that are elite competitors. And the way you do that is to put them in competitive situations. So, man, having the Legion tournament here, and I'll be honest with you, I love the sport of baseball. So to be able to watch our guys compete over the summer, and especially in their hometown for a state championship, was really, really great. And they had a great run, had a really good season. And really all the way down, we had a teener team that won a state championship too. So all of those things add into success, not just for football, but for everybody. And we're just excited to have our turn with them.
Health of the program, every year I ask the same questions. You kind of know where I'm coming from with this. Numbers of the program all the way down to, junior high.
Yeah.
Kind of the coaches, and if you kind of go over their assignments as well.
Yeah, so our numbers that we've got in the program right now we're as far as participation, we are doing better than we ever have before. At the varsity level, we've got roughly 105 guys and I say roughly because when school starts, there will be more kids that will end up coming out, especially in that freshman level, just because they're just not used to that whole process of fall camp yet. But so we're sitting at about 105 guys, and that number will be fluid going up into game week. We had a really big freshman class come in, and we've held on to a lot of those guys. Last year at the middle school, we had 45 guys in the 8th grade and 45 guys in the 7th grade. And so those numbers in the middle school we haven't seen for a long time. We don't know obviously what the 7th grade numbers will be this year, but our participation right now has been, really, really great. I think a big part of that is just a testament to what we do youth-wise in Yankton. We have a lot of avenues for youth to play football in Yankton, all the way from full contact tackle with South Dakota Junior Football to the 7-on-7 league that we have on Saturday. So there's a wide range of an array of the type of football you can play as a youth. I think that's really kept kids involved. And the other thing too, we were talking about this. Yankton just in general takes a lot of pride in their community. And I think Riverboat Days is a good example of that. I think our activity speaks to that as well. People take pride in that because it represents our town, and hopefully we do it in the right way. And so people want to be a part of that. I mean, they want to have their chance to build their legacy and something that is important to the community. And so, participation and the numbers in our football program are really good. Coaching-wise, we did have a little rollover. Coach Kolpitz has been discussed as taking a job out at Rapid City Central, and we are absolutely jacked for him. It's been kind of fun just to communicate with him over the summer and questions that he's got. It's interesting to hear him think about things that maybe he hadn't thought about before and ask me questions that I kind of just take for granted and work through. So that's been kind of fun. We're going to miss him, and good luck to him. But Blake Savvy was hired. He'll be teaching at the high school and coaching the secondary. Blake's a former Buck, so he knows exactly what he's getting himself into. We're excited to have him. He's a young guy, a lot of energy. I guess he understands the weight that comes along with that, taking a position here. And so he's grabbed onto it, and he's excited to have his chance, to coach Buck football. At the middle school level, we had two guys. Coach Haig slid over and is coaching girls tennis, and then Coach Dan Slowey retired from teaching, and so we had to replace two guys that have been there for a long time. Those guys have been working together in our middle school for a long time, and I think it's a testament to what we have at the high school. I think people sometimes forget that the success that we have at the high school starts way down at the middle school level, and so those guys, we're going to miss them, but we've got some guys that we brought on to coach new hires. Alex Lane, who teaches math at the high school and has coached basketball. He'll be coaching the 7th grade level with Jason Pasco. And then at the 8th grade level, Alex Topol, who will be back. And Coach Topol works with us throughout the summer and is a really energetic guy and is really good at connecting with kids. And so he's moved up to the 8th grade from the 7th grade level. And then we hired at the middle school Terry Beacom, TJ Beacom, who was at Vermilion and then Centerville. And I can't say enough good things about Coach Beacom. A couple years ago we played Vermilion, and the first time we played them on homecoming, I don't know if people remember this, it was a frustrating game for us. We won it, but they did a really good job of controlling the clock and keeping the ball out of our hands. And then the second year we played them in Vermilion, and that game put a lot of gray hairs on my head. And so it was a stressful game, and one of the reasons why it was so stressful was what Vermilion was doing, especially offensively. And so Coach Beacom has a great offensive mind. We actually, after they kind of whooped our butt a little bit, invited him over and just kind of went through how they teach their passing game. And we've adopted a lot of those principles and a lot of the teaching methods that they use. I think, when he was over at Vermilion, as far as their pass game, it was the best in the state that I had seen on film, just the way it was coached. And so we're really fortunate to have him. He's going to be a great asset to us, especially in that lower level, teaching kids the right way to do things. And so we've had some guys move on, but our school does a great job of hiring, and we've replaced those guys with really qualified and good coaches that are going to do a good job for our program. And so it's excited to get to work with them.
Well, you graduated a lot of seniors, as seems to happen every year. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's high school.
Yeah.
But a lot of big names that have been in this Bucks program and starting and getting a lot of playing time over the years. Rugby Reich and Cody Oswald. Man, I should have stopped naming names because now I'm going to forget a lot of people. But you graduate a lot of leaders as well. And now I know that our time together, Coach, that you depend on your upperclassmen to be leaders. Now, I know you can name all of your seniors and stuff, but who are just a few that you really have tagged as or have stepped up as new leaders?
Yeah,
for the Bucks?
So our off-season captains, and I'm a bit of a control freak, and so I know after we get done with football, everybody goes their own way, and we want them competing in other things, but still want to have some kind of connection with what's going on, whether it's off-season guys in the weight room, and we want to make sure we have a contingency of guys at basketball games and at wrestling matches and those types of things, supporting the athletes that are competing there. And so we have off-season captains. This year we elected 3 off-season captains at the end of the season: Caden Wavernick, Lucas Kampshoff, and Shaler Platt. So those 3 guys through the off-season really helped to liaison between the coaching staff and the players, just with organization and things that are going on. We may not be in football season, but we still do a lot of football things, and it's not with a football in our hand. It might be getting together, to, like, we planted the pumpkins over the summer and stuff like that. But you need leadership there, and those 3 guys have done a really good job. The trick with this group is going to be who, outside of just leadership, and just because you got a C on your helmet, you still need more leaders. And so who outside of that leadership group is going to step up and lead this team? And, we've had some really good discussions over fall camp about ownership of the team. And we've worked really hard to get these guys to understand that it's not the coach's team. It's definitely not Brady Muth's team. It's your team. I mean, this program is a lot bigger than just one person or just, a group of guys. It's the players' team. And I think when you do that, they get a little bit better hold of what the responsibility is, and they take ownership over it. And so we've seen a lot of guys that have stepped up. We've had some tough practices that have needed to rely on a lot of leadership, and it's been there because we've gotten through those practices. The challenge is the guys that graduated were all dudes. I mean, every single one of them, athletically, leadership-wise, they did everything we asked of them from the top to the very bottom. And they did it for a long time, too, because a lot of those guys started when they were sophomores. Some of them started when they were freshmen. And so to replace, we're talking about just replacing a senior leader, but more than that, there was a lot of 3-year starters there, or 3-year letter winners that we have to replace. And that's, to be honest with you, that's the way we want it. We've kind of got this where we want it to where you've got to compete your butt off if you want to play when you're a junior. You know what I mean? If you're playing when you're a sophomore, you're pretty special. And seniors, it's your time now. You've put in all the work, and it makes people very hungry, and it's highly competitive at practice. We've got that where we want it, but now those guys are getting their opportunity. And so that has been the transition, is how now do you handle you guys that have been able to sit back and be led? How do you handle being a leader now? And they've done a really, really good job with it. I would tell you this, and this is something I know from my coaching profile, like I have to work a lot more on team building things because I get too caught up in X's and O's and pieces on a chessboard, and the team building aspect of it is something that I as a coaching staff, we've really worked hard on the last couple of years. And this team, when we walked in, it seemed like there was such a connection between all of those guys. The workouts that we put them through up in the weight room with Coach Rosen, and it takes good teams you got to have a good team, otherwise you're not going to get through it. And we've gotten through it, not just surviving, but thriving. And so just excited to see these guys now take their opportunity, because now it's their turn, and they've been waiting for it. Shaler Platt, he's been waiting for this moment as a senior for a long, long time, and you can see it by the way he leads.
We love to hear that, and I'm sure he'll be on the offensive side of the ball as well. Let's talk offense, Coach. Yeah. We're going to go offense, defense, and that's special teams. Yep. However deep you want to go, let's just start talking offensive side of the ball.
So quarterback situation coming in this year is a little bit different with graduating rugby and having a guy like Lucas. One would think, I think that was the perception, but Easton Nelson has really he's really developed over the summer. He's gotten bigger and stronger. He's gone to a couple camps to help with throwing. And just leadership wise, he's had a great summer. That being said, Lucas is going to be the number one going into the scrimmage, where last year when we had this conversation, I said, well, we'll talk to you Monday again, Mitchell week. So, Lucas, very talented kid.
He's been pushing rugby for years, right?
Oh, yeah. I know people don't believe me when I say that, but I don't think people realize how close this was of a race, last year. And I'm sure it just comes down to an older guy having a little bit more experience is what it really came down to last year. But Lucas has always been talented. Now he's the guy pulling the trigger. And that, to be honest with you, has been really exciting to watch, because you've got a guy that is talented and knows he can do it, and sat and watched. And he had other roles on the team, but now playing quarterback is a little bit different, and he has completely embraced it. And the thing I love about Lucas, I'm a little bit high strung, and he is Joe Cool. He is easygoing, and nothing really rattles him. And so it's been fun to see his leadership in that way, keep pushing guys forward and keep everybody calm, which is what I want. I mean, I would love to be able to be that calm. I'm just not that way. So it's been fun to watch him. The running back position, with Shaler obviously starting at linebacker last year and really playing an awful lot as a sophomore too. He's going to have to play a role on offense too. And we've got 3 backs that have really settled in, and we'll use those guys as kind of a back by committee. I'm always chasing a 1,000-yard rusher. I want a guy over 1,000 yards. And so I'm sure someone will emerge out of that pack. But the interesting thing in our running back position is we've got 3 guys that are really 3 different guys, which is great for us because Shaler's a big bruiser. He's at 6 foot, weighs 195, 200 pounds, and can run. He's going to be more of a bruiser, but he's not a short yardage guy because he can run away from people. And then Evan Sirk, you saw him last year, and I think a lot of people might think Evan is the smaller guy, and he's the shiftier guy for sure, and maybe a little bit better in open space with catching the ball, but he can put you on your butt too. You saw that last year in a couple games where he can plant a foot and he can stick it. So he's going to be exciting to watch. And then the other guy that we're excited about is Jay Solacek, who's kind of a mix between those two. He's a little bit bigger than Evan, but maybe not as shifty. But he's got that big body, and he can be a power back when he needs to. And so those 3 guys will kind of round out our running back position there with the first team on offense. The other guy is Matt Sheldon. So Shelley plays our H-back spot, which is really, it's a hybrid tight end spot. But he's also a fullback. That's the hybrid part of it. You're going to see Matt Sheldon carry the ball more this year. Last year with being a young guy, and it's a lot going on offensively, especially in that spot. Then to move him in a position where he can carry the ball asks a little bit more of a younger guy. You saw him in the pass game quite a bit, but you'll see him a lot more in the run game. We've got some things that our roster is going to allow us to do where we can put some people in some different spots where we can highlight them a little bit and showcase their talents. And Shelley's one of those guys we're definitely going to make sure we're paying attention to on the hit chart. As you move out into the perimeter, Tucker Gilmore obviously is kind of the headliner there, but Austin Goebel is the other guy too. So you've got Tucker, which is kind of our big body guy, and then you've got Austin Goebel, who's been our speed guy. And Austin for a long time has just kind of been the guy that's just here's your route, run it, and usually it's deep. Didn't have to know the passing tree as much or read a defense as much. That's changed this year. He slid into Tyler Solar's spot, and Tyler's got a PhD in football because of that spot. So and Austin has done a very good job of grabbing a hold of that and knowing where he's supposed to be and when he's supposed to be there. And so that's been exciting to see him. Then the newcomers that have showed up are really, really exciting. So Frank Enfeld is a tight end, had a great offseason. He's a big body that can run. We'll use him in an attached tight end spot on the line, but he can also spread out like Tuck and go deep, get out wide. Tucker will kind of mix in between that spread wide guy and our number 1 X guy, where Cody Oswald played last year. But the guys that are spelling those spots are Cohen Zarbach and Evan Ness, which both those guys have had great camps. We went to a 7-on-7 competition this summer, and Evan Ness was by far the most exciting guy on the field. He just is a ball hawk, and we've known that. Not Evan Carson. We've known that about Ness for a while. He just didn't get to play much last year because of an injury, but he's a special kid. And Cohen is the next in line, and we've had some pretty good Zarbachs here that have played. He'll wear 81 just like the rest of them, and he'll be a long body that gets, is good in space and can high point a ball. And so that spot on the perimeter is really good. The other spot that we're really excited about is our slot receivers. So we've got Austin will be in one of those slot spots. But then we've got Peyton Peterson, and then another guy is Connor Warren-Slava. We call him Bubba because he's not a real big guy. We really call him Bubba because when I was at Bonham, there was a Bubba Slava at Wagner. so I always call him Bubba on accident. But he is a tough-nosed kid, and those guys are really, really hungry to get on the field, and it shows. They've all had great off seasons, and it's been really exciting in our perimeter game. When we moved inside that offensive line, we lost quite a bit to graduation and then just transfers. So we had one returning offensive lineman come back, and that's Caden Wavernick, who's all-conference guard, or all-conference left tackle. But the inside guys that have opportunities, it's a great example of what people can do when they know there's an opportunity. We've got 5, really 6, 7 guys that have stepped up and are making our job real hard. Lucas Cordell has really locked down the right tackle. We knew Lucas was going to be special. He started camp last year with a high ankle in the first game and never really recovered from that. But we get to see a full-strength Lucas Cordell just with his body and levers. He's going to be really good at the tackle spot. Edley Amaro is a sophomore. If you pay attention to wrestling, he's a real special athlete. He's a big body and long and fast. And, I mean, we've had some really good athletes. I'm really excited about Edley, though, just to see what he can do when he gets on the field. Another guy that's really stepped up is Mark Cottle. It's been fun to watch Mark. I think, Mark is a shorter guy, and you think, he's just kind of a short guy, and I don't know what we're going to get out of him. And then the ball is snapped or the helmet's buckled up, and he's got you on your back. And so he's a physical kid that is very good technique-wise, and it's been fun to see him kind of come into his own this year. Vaden Greil is a senior that has worked his butt off and has had a really good offseason. So he'll work in that center guard mix. And then Peyton Eustace, who started on defense last year, he's played a lot more on offense this year as well. And so I'm excited for Huey to see him cross-train a little bit. He's a talented guy. So those 2 tackle spots are really solidified. Those inside 3 are still a little bit moving around a little bit. When we get through the scrimmage, we'll have a better idea of what that's going to look like.
You're the second coach in the last 2 sports I've covered to mention Mark Cottle kind of stepping up into a position and stuff. Drew Lawrence with Yankton Baseball, talking about how he kind of stepped up a level to compete at high school and then Legion, and now you're talking about the offensive line, just a gamer.
Wait, if you were at the Legion tournament, Mark came in to pitch. We were in kind of a tight spot, and Post 12 was in a tight spot, and Mark came in to pitch and got out of the jam, finished the game, and there's a moment he's walking off the field, and he fist pumps, and he kind of lets out a little yell to his guys in the dugout. You don't see that, Mark, if you only see him in the hallway. You know what I mean? But if you get in a competitive situation with him, he is a competitive kid, and he's just nasty enough to find a way to win, that's what I like. And so, just like I said, just excited about him getting his opportunity because he's been a scout team guy for the last couple of years and kind of giving us fits, and now it's his turn.
And Coach Terry Huber, still helping with the offensive line, right?
Yeah,
as well as his offensive duties.
Yeah, so coaching-wise on offense, Coach Huber is the offensive coordinator and our offensive line coach. Coach Hale is our quarterback coach. Coach Jason Savvy coaches our running backs. And Coach Matt Decker takes care of our perimeter guys, our receivers.
All right, beautiful. Let's talk defense now, Coach. Same thing.
Yeah, so defensively, again, a lot of turnover defensively. Charlie Foote graduated inside backer. Our defense will look a little bit different. It'll be built a little bit differently, but it's essentially still the same personnel doing the same types of things. It's just the way we're presenting it. Our 2 inside backers that they've locked this down, Matt Sheldon and Shaler Platt. I don't know. I'm saying that my kid played linebacker here. I don't know in my time here if I've seen a better linebacker than Matt Sheldon or a better group between Matt Sheldon and Shaler Platt. And I know when I go home or I'm going to get a phone call that says, you're out of your mind. But I'm telling you, these 2 guys on the inside are really, really good.
It sounds like a scary duo.
Yeah. They're both big, they're both strong, and they both can run. And when they get to where they're going, they usually show up with a bad attitude. And so that's the kind of guys you want on the inside. And they both are take-charge kind of guys. And so we've done some things to maybe protect those guys and let them play a little bit more. Our defensive line, I can't tell you how excited I am about our defensive line just with the guys that we've got in there. Derek Beal, who's a junior, had a really good wrestling season. He'll play a 1 technique for us. He'll be a nose guard, our bigger body. Just excited to see D get out there, and he's just fun. He's a fun football guy to be around. Peyton Eustace will be in that 3 technique spot where he was last year. He's a 4 technique, but in that kind of area, outside shade of a guard. Got to have a real quick, talented guy there, and Huey is that guy for us. The guy that is a newcomer that's going to excite a lot of people is Riker Frang. And Riker's a big, strong country boy. He's fun to watch in the weight room, and he's caused our offensive line a lot of fits, just picking up people and moving them. And so he's healthy to have Riker with that group. Those three guys kind of rotating, and there will be some other guys, but those three guys have kind of locked down that interior rotation. And Riker is big enough to where he can move to a nose and strong enough to handle the nose, but he's quick enough and agile enough to where he can get into the 3-2 and do some of the things that we ask him to do there. On our strong side edge, Tyson Prouty, who was really coming into his own at the end. In high school, if you pay attention to guys on the line, defensive line play, I always look at hands, especially in space. And Tyson has some of the best hands that I've seen on film. He's had a great weight room. He was great in the weight room this offseason. He's one of our strongest guys. Did everything we asked him to do, and then competed in the summer, on the baseball team. And so excited for Tyson. He's going to have a great senior season. And then that weak side edge, we're working through some things. Peyton Eustace has slid out a little bit to there. We've looked at that a little bit. Frank Entfield is another guy that we've repped there a little bit. But Edley Amaro is a guy that, again, is really exciting on that weak side edge. He's like, I don't want to play weak side. I want to play strong side. And we kind of explained, you're not the weaker of the two edge guys. Okay. Ed, you're
just a name.
Yeah, you're just on the weak side of the formation. And so it's actually, you're going to get to, free up and get some free shots on a quarterback a little bit more. And once we told him that, he was okay with it. But all those guys that have played there, that edge spot, have played real well. The secondary, obviously, is where we've had the most turnover player-wise, and we had a coach leave. And so our secondary has been a real focus for us over the summer and going into fall camp and into the season. And so at the cornerback spot, we've been repping some guys there. Bodie Thurman, Matt Grotenheis, both have played there real well. Austin Goebel, we brought over from offense, and with his speed and his agility, he's looked real well there. Peyton Peterson, Connor Slaba has looked real well there. Easton Nelson is a newcomer that has really made a splash at cornerback. When you move back deeper into the secondary, when you get to the safeties, we've got Carson Conway, who you saw last year long snapping and maybe on the track. Had a great track season for us. But Carson has been repping at free safety. Donald Rounds at the strong safety spot. Tucker Gilmore at the strong safety spot. And then Carson Ness. Sorry, Carson, I keep doing that. Carson Ness at the free safety spot. And that's a great spot for Carson. Before Carson got hurt, he played at corner. And we can plug Carson in the corner, and he's going to be just fine. But to be able to put him back at the free safety spot where he can see the whole field and we can just let him play as a ball hawk, that's where his talents are best, fitted on the football field. And so just excited about, just getting him back on the field. I grabbed him after the 7-on-7 tournament, and I was like, man, I've missed watching you play football. He's just fun to watch. The spot that kind of makes everything go is that apex spot, or the overhang nickel, whatever you want to call him. Trent Yerke has really found a home there in that spot. You get to freelance a little bit. You do a little bit of everything: blitz, cover, and run support. And so it's kind of like a strong safety essentially rolled up. And the guy that we need to have someone really, really physical there. Trenton's a really, really physical guy, and so he likes to hit. And so we're excited to see him kind of grab onto that position and make a name for himself there.
And then coaching staff defense.
Coaching staff. So Dan Schwach will coach our defensive line. Coach Olson is our coordinator and our linebacker coach. And then Coach Savvy takes care of the secondary. Coach Blake Savvy takes care of the secondary for us.
Special teams coach.
Okay, special teams. Brady Hale has taken over for Coach Colpitz. It's an interesting transition. And actually, Coach Hale was going over that today, or this week, was just talking about the scheme we run. We run an awful lot of South Dakota State scheme. But Coach Colpitz was the guy that installed all of that South Dakota State stuff. I mean, we met with South Dakota State and got their kick return and all of these things, their punt shield and all of that stuff. But Coach Colpitz is a coyote. And so Coach Hale just maybe, had a little fun with it, but said, maybe finally now we'll get this run right now. The Jackrabbits running in. That's no shade towards the coyote fans out there, but Coach Hale has really embraced this, and the thing that I've really enjoyed, and this is the one part that I didn't think I would enjoy about being a head coach, but I love watching our coaches coach. And Coach Hale has grabbed a hold of this, and he worked hand in hand with Coach Kolpitz last year. Just worked with the technique aspect of it. He's taking over the scheme aspect of it now, and it's been fun to see Brady in that new role. Josue Villagomez, Trujillo Villagomez will take care of our kicking duties. The punting duties, we've got some different punt packages where we just go straight punter, and sometimes we put a position player in there to do some different things. And Matt Sheldon has been the guy that's kind of emerged as that position punter, where we can use it maybe a little bit differently than just putting a straight punter out there. And so, but special teams, again, high expectations for special teams. That doesn't change. And our guys understand that. And I can't tell you right now how the depth on the special teams is going to shake out, but I do know this. We've got some guys that are hungry to get on a football field and have put in a lot of time, and you can just tell by the way that they've developed over the offseason that they are ready to go. They're going to be fighting for these special team spots. I mean, we've got a lot of guys that are going to make some exciting moves on special teams, and like I said, special teams in Yankton is something we take pride of. Those guys that are on the special teams get a special forces shirt and they wear it around school like they really, it's something to be proud of. And so excited to see how all that shakes out and those positions shake out. There's going to be a little bit more competition here, the end of fall camp and going into even game week with getting that settled out.
All right, Coach, I'm really excited for the football season. Mitchell up first, but we'll talk about that at practice later in the week as we do our pregame interview. I really want to say thanks for joining us, and go Bucks.
You bet. Thanks, Bryce. Go Bucks.
That was Coach Brady Muth, Yankton Bucks football. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner. Again, that was Coach Brady Muth, Yankton Bucks football. Joined me earlier in the week for the Coach's Corner on the Pizza Ranch phone line. We'll take a break. We'll come back and continue here on the Coach's Corner. And again, the Pizza Ranch phone line. And I don't have pizza here this week, right? But starting next week with a full in-studio show and everyone live, all that stuff, we will have pizza. So maybe I will let all the coaches eat pizza while they're on air, because that sounds like it's just good time. Just get it all over the equipment. See how that everyone likes that, who I work with. We'll be back after this break.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
Do you have dry, sore, or irritated eyes? If so, you may have dry eye. At Vision Care Associates, we offer a simple, fast, and non-surgical procedure to treat black glands in your eyelids that can help your eyes to feel comfortable again. Schedule an appointment with Dr. Fieser to find out about dry eye treatment with our newest technology.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Don't gamble. Insure with MT&RC Smith Insurance in Yankton, your independent agent for home, business, auto, life, and bonds. MTRCSmithInsurance.com.
Attention homeowners, if you've been on the fence about selling, I'd love the opportunity to sit and visit with you. With low inventory, now would be a good time to call me, Deb Speck at Vision Real Estate. I'll provide you with a free market analysis and a no-pressure approach. Call me at 605-664-5555 to find out if now is the right time to make a move.
Know what happens when you keep your hard-earned assets at First Dakota National Bank? You can rest assured that your accounts are protected to the maximum allowed by the FDIC, and those funds stay local. Businesses and organizations are positively impacted. The whole community benefits. You can invest your resources just about anywhere today, but if you keep them safe, earn a good return, and benefit the local community, why would you invest anywhere else? First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here, 1019 Broadway Avenue, the Coach's Corner. And thanks to Coach Brady Muth joining us talking Yankton Bucks football. We had Braden Butler in studio earlier in the show talking about his role with KYNT and KYNTV, as well as YHS Nation, what to expect at the end of the Coach's Corner shows for the rest of the fall, well, actually, and winter and spring seasons. And now let's turn our attention to Yankton Bucks soccer. I caught up with Coach Dave Dannebring on the Pizza Ranch phone line. Let's go ahead and by the way, I do expect to have coaches in studio in the future, but this is just kind of the opening check-in on the coaches show. And peek behind the curtain, as you may have realized by the verbiage we have used, this is being recorded on Friday. But here I am. And this is Coach Dave Dannebring joining us again on the Pizza Ranch phone line, Yankton Bucks soccer. All right, let's start talking Yankton Bucks soccer with Coach Dave Dannebring. Coach, thanks for joining us here on the Pizza Ranch phone line.
Hey, thanks for having us again.
All right, well, this is our first conversation we've had this season for, well, obviously, the first show of the season as well. Yankton Bucks 2-1 to start the season. Lost to open the season against Sioux Falls Lincoln, but then back-to-back victories, Harrisburg at home, and then Watertown on the road earlier this week. Just kind of a 30,000-foot view, Coach. Obviously, you want to open the season with a victory, but the Bucks responded pretty positively.
Yeah, I've been telling people that I really think we have a nice schedule in that we open up with one of the best teams in the state, and it gives us something to shoot for, a little bit of fear, and then we know where we are going to stack up, whether we're a competitive team or whether we've got a lot of work to do or whether we should just cash it in. And, you know, we came out, and I think we were the better team for the first 15 minutes. And I had told our assistant coach, Riley Smith, I said, you know, here's how I think this is going to go, that we're going to be competitive, but we're going to run out of gas because we've got four sophomores and a freshman out on the field, and Sioux Falls Lincoln, they're deep enough that they can go mostly juniors and seniors. And when you have 15, 16-year-old muscle going up against 17, 18-year-old muscle, there's just a difference. And they just wore us down, and, you know, they end up hitting in a couple of really good goals. So I walked out of there very happy with where we were, knowing that it was going to take quite a feat for us to come in and beat them. And then we come back with Harrisburg, which is notoriously a bottom third of the teams, but they were really improving. I figured they would give us a challenge since they beat us last year. We had a pretty good idea what they were going to do, and came out. It was kind of a dogfight for a while, and we were not really on our game. I think there were a lot of things that we needed to take care of, but we did what it took to put in 2 goals and to come out with a 2-0 victory. So it allowed us to see what we can do, see if we can improve, and then I'll probably steal your thunder. Then we come back on Thursday, drive up to Watertown, and, you know, we're still in that mode that lots of teams are beating other teams. You know, you just don't quite know who's consistently good and who's consistently going to struggle. And Watertown has kind of been our nemesis the last couple of years. And we came out, they gave us the midfield, which is nice, which I mean, they wanted to build from the back, and they didn't press us very hard, and they allowed us to make a few passes in the middle, and our boys just really stepped it up. I pressed them a little bit in practice about how we need to do the things that we're capable of doing. You know, the old thing about, oh, that coach brought out the best in me. You know, it's like, well, in order to bring out the best in somebody, I think they need to be challenged. And I put that challenge out there, especially like to Christian Pachenko. You know, he's a great player, and said, Christian, who's going to score the most goals? I mean, who has the opportunity to score the most goals, the defensemen or the strikers? And he's like, yeah, strikers. I'm like, well, you show your stuff out there. And so he came out against Watertown and just had a great game. And, you know, he had a supporting cast where just everybody across the board. If I start naming names, I'm going to miss people, but Nels Hansen, Byron Jimenez, Kevin Ortiz, Ty Bindi, all those guys. They just came out and played hard. Tony Guitron, he was out on the wing. He said, "Oh, coach, my ankle hurts. I don't know if I can go." I said, "Well, you give it a go." And then all of a sudden, man, he was just all over the field and knocked in a great goal from the wing to give us some confidence and put us ahead. And we didn't look back from there. So the boys really responded. They came out, how they played hard, shielded the ball, just talked on defense. We've got a long way to go, but it was a giant step forward and just so fun to watch as a coach. And it was a fun game to watch because it's fast and furious. Watertown has a couple of really good players, and we just pinched them off and shut them down. So it was a lot of fun.
My next question was going to be to ask you kind of name some leaders in the team, but you kind of already did that. So instead I'll ask, are you just overall impressed? Are you happy so far with the upperclassmen and them embracing their new leadership roles?
Well, that's been the biggest key. And I've been telling our parents, we've had a couple of meetings, I've been telling our kids that as a coach, I've got to look at things and find what's the common denominator in teams that are winners. Every time you see the Super Bowl interviews, everything is about, oh, these guys came together as a team. We're just one. Everybody had their role. And that's what it takes. And then it takes some leaders that everybody will follow. I think the mark of a good leader is when you go to battle and the leader turns around, are there a bunch of guys behind him or have they turned to run? And our seniors have just done a great job. Simon Scholes has stepped up on the field, vocally, being positive. Lance Dannenbring, he's been injured and he saw 15 minutes of playing time last night. He's just been a vocal leader trying to be positive and build up all the young kids. Bennett Shade, Walter Ortiz, Patrick Gurney, he's just really stepped up. He knows his role. Not the best ball handler, but one of the best defenders up top and pressing, and he just goes in and wreaks havoc on people and is like, "Coach, I'll do it. I'll do whatever I got to do." And so it's been really nice. Ty Bindi has been a captain, fifth-year starter. And, he has just taken on some roles. He's hesitant to talk, but he's gotten way better. And I think he and I have a good relationship. And the last couple of games, he's come to me with, hey, I don't know if I'm overstepping my boundaries, but this is something I see. And I'm like, well, that's why you're there. That's why you guys are leaders. You have some experience on the field. We trust you, and I'll listen to whatever you have to say, and then we can have a discussion about it and see if we need to do it. And both times he was right. In the Harrisburg game, he came to me and said, "You know what? If you move me to the midfield, I will make something happen, and I will correct our mistake." And he did it. And all of a sudden, we score some goals. And then Thursday night, we were in a spot where we were getting tired. We were ahead 4-0. There's 8 to 10 minutes left, and I tried to give some guys up top a rest, and they scored a goal, which it was a good goal. And he came, and we talked about a few things, and we both said, yeah, remember O'Gorman in 2020 when we were up by 2 with 10 minutes left, and we get beat 3-2, and said, yeah, you're right. We're going to put some guys back in, and we're going to make sure that we close the door on that game, which we did. So back to the leadership, Ty's been so good. All those seniors have been so good. It just makes going to practice a treat because they are just good guys to be around, and the team has followed them.
Well, Coach, I'll close with this. The Monday doubleheader versus West Central obviously postponed into September due to the forecasted heat index. So now a Friday, Saturday swing out west, Douglas Friday, and then Spearfish on Saturday. How important is those road trips for team bonding? I mean, that's just the first thing I always think about.
So that's the fun of it. That's why we like going. If you're not having fun doing sports, it's not worth it. And there's a fine line between dealing with expectations dealing with, hey, we're a varsity sport. There's a lot of tax dollars that go into you guys doing this activity, and there's some things that just come with it, which is that expectation of doing what it takes. And having these trips is where you get to just kind of be with the team. You get to laugh about things, and it's just so fun to go out there. And it's worked out perfect that we don't have a game Monday, because we really would like some training time just to work on some things, just to not have that mental stress and have to burn that mental energy of game after game after game, because we're going to go out there and play Spearfish on Saturday, and they've kind of become our nemesis and arch rival, and we're going to be up for that one, and it gives us a chance to just prepare. So we're excited about that trip. And like I say, the team bonding, we did a team camp out before the season started. We all went camping out at the lake, sat around the campfire and went to the beach and played a little soccer. And just being part of a team is what makes sports fun.
No, absolutely, Coach. Hey, thank you for joining us here in the Coach's Corner. Make sure you enjoy your Riverboat Days festivities. You have anything special planned?
Oh, man, Riverboat Days is work for me. All self-inflicted, but my wife's got dance on Saturday night, so we're in charge of a lot of little kids and a big activity. And so it's not all fun and games, but it's fun to see everything culminate. It's fun to see the town come together. The good thing about Riverboat Days, it's kind of become a big reunion of all ages, so I run into people that I had as students back in the 90s and friends of ours from out of town, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, sounds good, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Bryce.
This is Coach Dave Danbury, Yankton Bucks Soccer. We'll go ahead and take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner. All right, that was Coach Dave Danbury joining Yankton Bucks Soccer. We'll go ahead and take another break here on the Coach's Corner. Come right on back and start talking Yankton Gazelles Soccer here on the Coach's Corner.
Being able to enjoy the warm weather is great. Playing sports, fishing, boating, and just lounging outdoors. But with the warm weather also comes skin issues and concerns, like rash, poison ivy, and other allergies and sunburns. At Yankton Rexall, we have a great selection of over-the-counter products that can help provide you some relief. So don't waste a minute of the warm weather suffering.
Celebrating 100 years, your hometown pharmacy since 1923, Yankton Rexall.
Scheduling an appointment with Yankton Medical Clinic has never been easier. You don't even have to pick up the phone. Visit yanktonmedicalclinic.com and click the self-scheduling link. It's that simple. You can self-schedule with every provider in family medicine and pediatrics, along with select providers in internal medicine and obstetrics gynecology. It only takes a few minutes and fits into your schedule. Simplify your day by scheduling online with Yankton Medical Clinic. So convenient, so much care, so close to home.
The other day, a gal came into the UPS store to drop off a package. On her way out, she noticed the print sample wall and asked if we could print invitations. The answer was, yes, we can. Hi, this is Doug at the UPS store in Yankton and Vermilion. For over 7 years now, the UPS store has been helping hundreds of customers with their printing needs. From basic copies to business cards and invitations to posters, we can print them. Stop out and ask about our current print specials and see how we can help with your printing needs.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Thanks to Dave Danbury joining us on the Pizza Ranch phone line. Let's turn our attention to Yankton Gazelles Soccer. Also caught up with Coach Tyler Schuring earlier this week as well, and here is that conversation. All right, let's start talking Yankton Gazelles Soccer. Being joined on the Pizza Ranch phone line, Coach Tyler Schuring. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here, Bryce.
All right, let's just jump right into it. Kind of a check-in on the season, and then we'll have, of course, our full in-studio show beginning next weekend. 0-3 to start the season. Sioux Falls, Lincoln, the opener, and then Harrisburg, and then Watertown, the first road game of the season. Let's give you an opportunity, kind of a 30,000-foot view. Your opening takes. There was some really good highlights in those games and positive takeaways, right?
Yeah,
we are sitting at 0-3, but I thought we've been more competitive than that 0-3. Against Lincoln, that game really could have gone either way. 1-1 at halftime, gave up a goal midway through the second half, so we had to push numbers late in the game, ended up giving up that late goal, ended up being 3-1. It really wasn't a 3-1 game. It was kind of a back and forth game that really could have gone either way. Harrisburg, they're right now, any other team in the state, they're just a different animal right now. They're exceptionally well-oiled machine at all different levels. Defense through the midfield, they move the ball very well. And frankly, they can shoot and finish from anywhere on the field. They're state champs. They're one of the best teams in the country as far as I'm concerned. I'll put them up against the majority of the teams in the country as well. Very senior and junior-oriented team. So that one was a very defensive game. But for much of the first half and start of the second half, we kept them at zeros for the most part. So a good showing on the defensive side. We were able to show some grit, some organization there against a very solid team. Watertown last night, that's one that really shows how soccer is maybe the most unfair sport there is. The best team does not always win. That's a game where I thought we outplayed Watertown in basically all the different phases. Defense played exceptionally well. We moved the ball well through the midfield. We pressured the ball well through the midfield. We were making some really good attacking runs, creating some good attacking opportunities. Just unfortunately, we had a 2-1 lead, 16 minutes to go in the game, and just let it slip away with a late corner and a late counterattack. Watertown took advantage. Our keepers were only forced to make 3 saves during the game, so we really limited their opportunities. Unfortunately, we just couldn't take advantage of the ones that we had. But overall, it was a really well-played game by the Gazelles.
All right, and Coach, this has been a talking point the last couple seasons, but a very young team as it has been. But are you pretty happy so far with the upperclassmen that you do have stepping into their leadership roles?
Yeah, I think we have a good mixture, freshmen through seniors right now that are really have developed the last few years together, really blended together. There's a lot of chemistry there. So I think that helps out. Throwing a new formation at them as well this year too. So there's a learning curve there. But I think overall, I don't really look at it anymore as far as, grade-wise. A lot of these players have been around for a number of years, so it's just, who's showing up on any given day, really, and who's performing. And I think we've had a lot of girls just step up and are ready to play.
We talked about chemistry and a good opportunity to gain even more as a 2-day trip out west, Coach. Friday, Douglas, Saturday, Spearfish out in West River. Are you looking forward to the trip for that team bonding experience? And also, what can you tell me about those West River opponents?
This is another good opportunity for us to play some teams that I think we can compete with. It's unfortunate we travel out to Douglas and our JV doesn't get a match against that team. Our JV's been playing really well. I just want to reiterate that. Haley Dede's been doing a good job with them as well. But yeah, that West River trip, it's definitely nice for us. It's really our only overnight opportunity every couple of years. So it's good for the team, good for the program. Nice little team bonding. Just get away for a little bit, really focus on the team, on soccer, and play some competitive soccer. So yeah, we have Douglas on that Friday night. The boys will play first, and then the Gazelles will play at 7 p.m. Mountain. Then we'll get up in the morning and drive off to Spearfish, and JVs will play at 10 o'clock, and both varsities will play at noon. So, yeah, we're looking at some good soccer out there. Really don't know what to expect, really, from Spearfish. They had a nice little upset of Aberdeen that first weekend. So I think they're going to be a little bit improved, but I think if we can continue to improve on our end and focus on our stuff and play to our ability, we're going to give them a good shot.
All right, Coach, looking forward to talking to you throughout the season. And as the season goes on, we'll get into more and more details. Kind of like I said, an opening check-in with the Gazelle Soccer. Thank you for joining us here on the Pizza Ranch phone line, and enjoy your Riverboat Days festivities.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a warm one. Everyone stay hydrated, stay safe, and have some fun.
All right, that's Coach Tyler Stirring, Yankton Gazelles Soccer. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner. And thanks again to Coach Tyler Stirring joining us on the Pizza Ranch phone line, and for you for joining us here on the Coach's Corner. We're going to go ahead and take another break, come back, and let's start talking Yankton Gazelles tennis here from 1019 Broadway Avenue here in Yankton.
Sports injuries can be the result of competitive activities, but can also happen by just participating in leisure activities too. If you're experiencing pain as the result of your chosen activity, consider chiropractic care. I'm Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson with First Chiropractic Centers. We have experienced chiropractors that work with sports injuries every day. Our treatment options are aimed to minimize pain, reduce recovery time, and reduce risk of future injuries. Visit First Chiropractic Centers, making life better, one adjustment at a time.
Investing in your home is easier and more fun when you have local choices. This is Cody Miles, owner of Upper Midwest Garage Door. We offer a wide variety of American-made, unique Clopay garage doors, free in-home consultations, a digital preview of the new garage doors on your home, and the expert small-town service you deserve. Get started today with your local independent Clopay dealer, Upper Midwest Garage Door. Give us a call, stop by, or learn more at uppermidwestgaragedoor.com.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner with Bryce Ladwig. Thanks to the coaches we've had so far on the Pizza Ranch phone line, and Braden Butler joining us in studio to kick things off. Now let's start talking Yankton Gazelles tennis with head coach Ryan Haig, and it's going to take a while to get used to saying that, considering that he has been the Bucks tennis coach for all this time, and now is the Gazelles head tennis coach, and joined him on the Pizza Ranch phone line earlier as well. Here's that conversation. Let's start talking Yankton Gazelles tennis. I wanted to say Bucks tennis because of our next guest, Coach Ryan Haig, first year coach as Gazelles tennis head coach, and already 4-2 on the season. School hasn't even started yet. Did you guys just want to get a jump on things or what? It seems like it's going fast.
Yeah, that's been one heck of a change for me, coming to work 2 weeks before school starts. But, luckily for me, I've got a great group of young ladies that are willing to get on court early and in the hot weather and put in some good work before school gets started here.
Yeah, you did mention, just kind of expand on that, at the fall sports kickoff, you just mentioned how easy it was from the first practices to really just embrace this group of Gazelles athletes. They're eager and they're excited to just keep on going, and you couldn't have asked for much more is basically what you said, right?
Yeah, fantastic. That's exactly correct. These girls, majority of them have a good idea who I am. I had them while they were in middle school here for the most part, not quite all of them, but the majority of them. So they've got some semblance of what I'm going to be like on court, and a few of them, I've had their brothers on court in past as well, and so they've got a pretty good idea of what was in store when I agreed to kind of help coach them, and to be perfectly honest, this team has been very, very well coached over the past several years by Coach Vanessa Rockney and of course Mike Briggs as well, and so just couldn't ask for a better situation to step into. And yeah, the girls are definitely proving me right. They're a fantastic group of young ladies that are willing and eager to get on court every day and learn a little bit every day and put forth their best effort every single day. So, there's not a coach in the country that wouldn't ask for more than that.
Yeah, and Coach, as you know, this is our opening show of the season, Riverboat Days weekend, so we're keeping everything kind of short. We'll get into more results as the season goes along when you and I talk each week, but I do want to talk about the two-day event Friday in Brookings, starting Friday in Brookings, and we kind of already mentioned it to open this talk, but just how fast the season already has you going. It's not even a quarter over yet, and you're already going to have 6 matchups under your belt.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We head up to Brookings here on Friday, and actually we're going to play 3 matches Friday and 2 more matches on Saturday. So 5 matches over the course of the weekend, and 4 of those matches will be ESD opponents, and as everybody knows, anytime you step on the court and match up against another ESD opponent, the intensity has to rise, and because the importance of those matches is just a little bit more. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to kind of showcase our skills against a number of very high-caliber opponents this weekend.
All right, Coach, as I said, as the season goes on, we'll get into more details, more of a check-in with you, just kind of open things up, and thanks for joining us here on the Pizza Ranch phone line and the Coach's Corner.
As always, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Let's Coach Ryan Haig, Yankton Gazelles tennis, join us. We'll come back and continue here on the Coach's Corner. Thanks, Coach Ryan Haig, joining us on the Pizza Ranch phone line. We'll take one last break, come back, and wrap things up here on the Coach's Corner, KYNT and KYNTV.
Bring the crew to Pizza Ranch in Yankton. This is Annie, and we have legendary pizza and chicken just waiting for you on our buffet. Let us know what you're craving, and we'll make it fresh and bring you the first slice. Or let us deliver right to your front door. Your locally owned Yankton Pizza Ranch on Broadway, 665-1222.
It's where life tastes better. Surround them up and head her down to the Pizza Ranch. Whoa, that's good.
Do you really think it's a good idea to buy insurance off the internet? After all, it is insurance. It's not a commodity like a toaster. It's a contract to protect what you value most: your home, your car, your business, your health, and even your life. You need a professional, in-person agent to make sure you have the right coverage to fit your family's needs. Schedule an appointment with us today. Missouri River Associates, 665-6885.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig with you here. And thanks to all the coaches that have joined us on the Pizza Ranch phone line. It's time to start talking to some of the sports that didn't join us or weren't scheduled to join us. And maybe their seasons are a little pushed out. I have contacted every coach, and we have spoken, and we'll get all the coaches in here at some point this season. Let's start talking Yankton Bucks golf. They had their Warrior Links invite. That was on Tuesday. What day is it? Yeah, Tuesday. And they finished 8th, plus 74 in a 642 total score. And today, as we're recording the Coach's Corner, or Friday afternoon, if you will, they just wrapped up their Yankton, their Brandon Valley, Harrisburg, Sioux Falls, Lincoln, Sioux Falls, Washington, Yankton golf meet at Fox Run Golf Course. Yankton finished 4th, a plus 31, 319 overall. Harrisburg took the team title with a plus 6, a 294 score. And the top golfer for Yankton was Easton Vellick. He was tied for 6th with a plus 4, 76 score. And then going down, Miles Kraske, a plus 8 with an 80. Parker Riley tied for 16th, a plus 9 with an 81. Eli Larson tied for 19th, a plus 10, 82. Riker Larson tied for 22nd, a plus 12, 84. As well as the same score for Henry Homestead. And then tied for 26th, Kai Cody, plus 13, 85. And Colton Hopkins tied for 35th, plus 17, 89. William Youngblum tied for 38th, plus 19, 91 score. Right behind him at tied for 41st is Isaac Dimmer, a plus 20, 92. And then at 45th, Braden Brickland, plus 23 and a 95 score. And tied for 46 is Easton Skelhaus, a plus 24, 96. And that does it for the Yankton golfers. And other sports, competitive dance and cheer, they have their first competition August 31st. We will have those coaches in as well. Coach Matt Gable and Stacy Reichen will be in. And then cross country, Coach Caitlin Savvy, their first competition August 25th. So this coming Friday at Passley Park in Sioux Falls. We'll have her in studio, excuse me, on the 26th as well. So there you have it. I think it's going to wrap us up here on the Coach's Corner today. Thanks again to our coach guests this morning, the sponsors, And thanks to you for watching or listening. I'm KYNT Sports Director and the voice of Yankton Athletics, Bryce Ladwig. Go Bucks, go Gazelles, go enjoy the rest of your weekend, Riverboat Days weekend. This has been the Coaches